What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So another RX7 video today. For you 300ZX guys, I know you've probably been patiently waiting for some 300ZX content. It's coming. I got a video in store. Just trying to do some RX7 stuff here, get this build at a good place before I can make that video. So anyways, what we're doing today is that engine that I pulled out, the 13B motor from my Mazda RX7 Turbo 2. This is going to be getting a full teardown today. So I got the engine right here. It's on a stand. I already put it on a stand. I'll go into details in a little bit about that and how I did that. Basically, I'm gonna get this thing completely stripped today down to the keg, because in about a week or two, I'm traveling and I'm gonna be dropping this engine off at a shop to get completely rebuilt. So I decided I'm not gonna rebuild the engine myself because I don't know exactly what I'm doing, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm gonna take it and get it rebuilt. And they'll also do a street port. I'm still thinking about the whole porting thing. I have a couple more weeks to decide, but it's getting rebuilt for sure. So I'm obviously not gonna take it there like this. I'm gonna take everything, all the accessories and whatnot off of it. So that's what I'm gonna do here today. I'm all set up here. I'm ready to go and get this thing done. I got a little piece of plastic underneath the engine stand because I'm sure this is gonna make a mess, but we'll figure it out. So first things first, mounting this thing on an engine stand is a little interesting. So most engines, you kind of do it, you know, from the bell housing where the transmission meets the motor. I did some research for a Rotary, and apparently there's an adapter for it. You can get that bolts right onto your engine stand, and then it goes on the side of your engine on the first housing. I didn't want to go spend $100 plus on an engine stand, so what I did was what a lot of people do. I took off the arms off my engine stand. I removed the AC bracket. There's 3 holes. I just got a longer bolt and I put that through one of them. And then there's 2 studs, and I just put those nuts back on there. So this thing's not going anywhere. It's been on an engine stand already for over a week, and it's easy to move around. Everything's perfect. I tilted it this way a little bit because, as you can see, that's the back side of the motor. It's a lot heavier than the front, and it's off center. So I tilted it like this to kind of offset the weight a little bit, just being cautious. I don't think it would even make a difference. These motors aren't that heavy, and it's gonna get very light as soon as I start taking things off of here. So that's the state of the motor right now. Everything's still on it. There's gonna be a lot of nastiness, I find. Anyways, let's mount you guys up and get right to it. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is start from the back of the engine and get the flywheel, maybe not the flywheel right now, but I'll get the pressure plate and the clutch off for sure. I am gonna toss this. This clutch was put on a couple thousand miles before the guy stored this car, but it's been stored for like 20-25 years. I don't know if I wanna just run it again. It's gonna have a lot of life left, but I'm here, I might as well change it. That's what makes these builds so expensive, saying, I'm here, I might as well do this. I'm here, I might as well do this. I think I'm gonna be saying that a lot here because I wanna do everything I can. So anyways, I'm gonna get this off first. But what I first like to do is grab some water and spray it. That was probably a bit too much, but I like to spray it down just because it prevents clutch dust from flying around, being airborne, and you inhaling it. It's really, really, really bad for you. That's what I do, because for these pressure plate bolts, I'm gonna be using a impact most likely, because if I use a wrench, this is just gonna spin, and I'll have to find a way to brace it somehow, which is not a big deal, but I'm probably just gonna use my impact and zip these off. I'm also gonna put all these bolts and stuff in a Ziploc bag and label everything, because I will definitely not remember how to put this engine back together if I don't do that. So I'm probably gonna leave this flywheel on when I drop off the engine to get it rebuilt, because the shop said that they would also refinish my flywheel if it's on there. So I'll leave that, and getting this big nut off is not gonna be fun either. I don't have a socket for it. Spray some of these exhaust bolts in PB blaster first, and that O2 sensor, and let it work its way in so they're a bit easier to take off. Okay, so I just removed these hoses and stuff from the turbo side right here. So they're all right here. One was in here, one was in here, and the intake pipe, and just to free up the turbo a little bit, while all these nuts and bolts over here for the exhaust were just absorbing the PB blaster. So I'm gonna keep going. I really wanna get this thing off first, just to free up some space. I'm happy with where this is. I'm gonna start removing the top as well. So just giving you a little update, gonna keep going. Well, those didn't put up too much of a fight. Now let's see if we can get this intake off. This is supposed to be a rubber vacuum line. Look how hard it is. It just snapped when I tried to pull it off. The vacuum lines are literally snapping off like they're plastic. That's insane. Okay, so for some reason, the intake doesn't want to move. I think I'm missing some bolts or nuts somewhere that are deeper down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna remove the stuff at the front, whatever's visible. Like I said, there's no really plan for me or the way that I'm going to remove it. I'm just kind of removing it as fast as I can. So right now I'm going to try getting this air pump out. So I just got the alternator off, was just 2 bolts. So it's starting to get better and better. I think I'm gonna work this wiring harness through now, get that out of the way, and then keep going. Sorry, not too much talking in this video. I'm just trying to get this done. I don't know, maybe some of you prefer me keeping my mouth shut and just watching this stuff get done, but there's so much mouse crap in here, man. I'm amazed that this car was stored for 20 something years and they didn't make it inside the car and they were only in the engine bay. Like you guys saw from my last video, I completely stripped the interior of it and there was no evidence of mice inside the car, which is absolutely awesome. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going. I wanna get this bracket off, get some of these hoses and stuff off. Still need to get this off somehow. I think I'm missing a nut that's down there somewhere. And then one on the other side as well. So I'll try to do that right now. Also, I just realized my camera's battery is like 11%. It's gonna die any second. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick preview of what I'm gonna be doing in the next 30 minutes or so while I charge up the camera again. I'm gonna just take off some more stuff up here, get this wiring harness pulled through and out of the way, and then I'm gonna get this intake off. I have all the nuts that I could see removed already, and this bracket is off and everything, but there's a couple nuts that are still hidden, I think. So I'm gonna get those off and then see if I can get this intake off, and then I'll work on some of these brackets here and disconnect some of these coolant lines and whatever else lines are back here and strip that out. I won't get the turbo off just yet. You guys will probably see that happen. I'll try to get this battery charged as fast as I can. So I'm not really gonna touch much up here. I'm just trying to get this intake off right now. So that's probably what's gonna happen off camera. I'll be right back. Well, I got it off. And you wouldn't believe, the only thing I was missing was this long bolt. For some reason, I thought that this half was gonna come off separately and that half was gonna come off separately. So I was trying to remove all of these here, which I didn't even need to. I just removed this bolt and it came right off. I had some vacuum lines to remove at the front, and this line back here and a couple other vacuum lines and a plug back there, and then it came right off. So that's awesome. So now I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna remove this stuff right here, and I'll get this bracket out of my way as well. Just a couple bolts looks like for that. I'll show you guys where I'm at in a couple minutes. So I just removed that air control valve that was right here. The studs came out with it, but that's fine. It's 3 studs with 3 nuts on it. 2 of the studs came out, one's fine. I think I'm gonna get this fuel rail out. You know what I should have done? I should have brought my GoPro, so you guys could actually get a view of what I'm doing. But I mean, it's not really supposed to be a how-to anyways. It's just more me, you know, taking it apart and showing you guys what I'm doing. Okay, so fuel rail is disconnected. Why am I fighting with this hose? I'm gonna replace it anyways. So we're just gonna cut it. Oh, I see. There's 2 different fuel rails. This is cool. Sorry, don't destroy me in the comments. I'm a noob. I don't even know half of what I'm doing. Honestly, I'm literally learning as I go. I've never tore down an engine this much. I did a bit for my Nissan, but I never really got into the interiors, into the internals. I did fuel injectors on it and a few gaskets, but nothing crazy. Uh-oh. That was stupid. Am I really just gonna let this leak out? Okay, anyways, here we are. So 2 bolts holding it in, 2 fuel lines, 2 connectors. Super easy. Okay, let's get this coolant pipe off for the turbo. Okay, now we're gonna get this turbo off. So this is mounted by those 4 bolts. There's gonna be a turbo oil feed line, which I gotta get out to, and the drain lines. Okay, I think the turbo can finally come off. I forgot my coolant drain line as well. Okay. Come on, baby. Oh. There he is. Okay, now it's time to remove this intake manifold. So let's figure out how to do that. All right, so quick update here. So I'm trying to remove this intake manifold. And in order to do that, there's a bunch of stuff going on back here. What you gotta do, I think, is remove this nozzle right here and this one right here, so it can be pulled out with the manifold. And there's probably gonna be some other things I gotta disconnect, like the vacuum lines on the side here. But that shouldn't be too bad. So right now what I'm gonna do is disconnect this and this. Okay, so what I've been trying to do is get this intake manifold off, and I finally got it to start separating. It was like 1 with the block. It did not want to budge, so I took a rubber mallet and I smacked it up here a few times, and it started to separate. There's all these vacuum lines and these oil lines and air lines and I don't know what else over here. I disconnected these 2 like I mentioned. I don't know what else really needs to be taken off just yet. I kind of want to pull this off and then see what's connected to it and disconnect it at that point, because I don't want to just disconnect everything. I feel like I'm not going to remember where it goes back or how it is. So I have a feeling this thing's supposed to come off. Probably, maybe I'll zip that off first actually. It's only 2 bolts anyways, and then I'll take this off. Okay, another quick update. I got it completely separated now. It's just barely hanging on there. I have to remove this fuel line right here and a couple more of these vacuum lines and this bracket right here, I think. So it's pretty much free. I'm just gonna see what's still connected and then pull the rest off. Man, is it dirty though. This engine is so nasty, man. Guys, look at this engine, man. It is so nasty. Look at this manifold. What? This thing needed a whole rebuild anyways. You know, even if this motor did start, it needed all this work anyways. I'm pretty glad I'm doing this. This motor is gonna be brand new by the time I'm done with it. It's getting pretty tedious now with all these vacuum lines and air lines and whatever else is going on over here. I really hope I remember how to put this back together. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll have to do some research and stuff, but damn, this is a lot. All right, boys, every time I put the camera down, I get so much more done. So I got the exhaust manifold off. What sucks is that, as you can see, I got 3 studs here. The 4th one broke, so that's gonna be fun when I have to deal with that. After that, I got the oil metering pump off of here. That came out nice. Took the lines off of that as well, so that's good. Then I got, there's a bracket right here. I got that bracket off. So down here, that's the exhaust manifold. That's that bracket I was talking about. And the oil metering pump, I have it sitting right there next to the transmission. Man, I can see the end. I can see the end. Now looks like what I'm gonna be working on is this mess over here. Not too much left. So let's see. I'm gonna figure out how to get this off, and then I'll catch you guys in a bit and I'll give you an update. Wow. Just wow. That's crazy. And I'm guessing that is why when you're pulling this motor, you disconnect the wiring harness from the ECU and pull it through the firewall rather than do all this just to get the wiring harness out. That is crazy. Okay, as you can see, this motor is pretty much done. This huge water pump is still here. To get that off, I think I have to get this centric shaft pulley off, which should be interesting. Let me try getting that off. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but it definitely needs to come off for that water pump to come off, because there's a bolt right behind it. Good times. Let me try. Okay, if this doesn't get it off, which I have a good feeling that it won't, because this is not a Milwaukee, then I'm probably gonna call it a day. Because if I use a breaker bar, the flywheel is just gonna spin. And I don't have a way to brace that right now. Let's see. And that, my friends, is how you do that. I doubt myself too much. This is a rigid impact. Yes. Yes. All right, let's get this water pump off. This is the last thing, pretty much. Boys, I'm almost at the finish line, man. I can't believe I made it this far, honestly. I think I gotta remove this thing, and then this, I'll remove that hose. Get rid of that oil pressure sensor. I think that's what that is. That's it, that's all she wrote. I'm not gonna record anything after this. I'm gonna strip the last little bits off, and then I'm gonna vacuum this and brush it and clean it up a little bit so it looks presenting, and then I'm gonna show you guys all of it in just a second once it's all completely done. Okay, boys, we are done. I just spent like 30 minutes cleaning up everything, the floor, the parts that I took off, organized it all into my shelf. I'm gonna show you guys what the keg looks like now. I think this is exactly how I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna take off anything else. The guys that are rebuilding the engine will take care of that. I don't wanna take off too much more from here on. I don't really see the point of it. So I think I'm gonna leave it, like this. So anyways, here's the final result. Looks a lot better now that it's clean, but still pretty grimy. I didn't really do the oil pan or the motor mount or anything over there. I just kind of cleaned up top and the sides a little bit. I put this back on just so it doesn't get damaged. It's just hand tight. So that's pretty much how you strip down a 13B motor out of a turbo Mazda RX7 FC down to just a keg. So now what's left is for this to be rebuilt. I'm gonna speak to the guys that are gonna be rebuilding it, see if they can let me maybe pay a little extra and get some content and film some for you guys, and also so I can refer back to it in the future if I ever have to rebuild this thing again, because this does seem like it's going to be one of the cars I keep for a very long time. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into it. I want to keep it, and the story behind how I got this car is too good anyways. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Next video, I'm probably going to be stripping the engine bay for the RX-7 just so I can paint it before the motor's ready and back to me so I can put it back in. I also have to fix the rust in the car. So those are some videos you can expect, and I have a video that I'm working on for the Nissan 300ZX, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.